want to talk about the generalizations for spelling k at the end of a word. I don't just want to talk about the rule itself. I want to talk about when I teach it, because it's not just one lesson that I teach. It ends up being taught and then retaught and then retaught, because there's more things that I want to add to it as I go. So you'll see what I mean. This is the generalization. When you hear k at the end of a word, you're going to spell it usually with the letter K, unless there is a short vowel sound right before the k sound. In that case, you'll use CK. Later, when we're looking at multisyllable words, you're going to learn about IC spelling for words that end in ick. So let's back up a little bit. Where do we begin? So when you're teaching CVC words, you don't have to worry about this rule because there aren't words that end with k. So then I'm going to move on to when I first introduced CK, which is right after CVC. I'm going to start teaching digraphs, and then we're going to also be looking at some blends. So I'm going to be teaching this rule first, that you're only going to use CK at the end of a word. That's really important, first of all. And it only comes after a short vowel. So what does that mean? That means that it doesn't come after a long vowel or any other vowel sound like ow, and it doesn't come after a consonant. So I'm first going to teach this with my students by showing them examples of words that have CK at the end and K at the end. Now take a look at my columns. I am not including these yet because at that point in my sequence, I'm still working with just short vowels. So when I first introduce the ending k sound, I'm introducing them to what they're being exposed to so far, which is short vowels. So we're using words like mask, desk, and milk, and then all of these words that use CK at the end. So that's the first time I teach it. Then we revisit it when I'm teaching my silent E unit. And when I'm teaching my silent E unit, it comes up again because we have words that end with the k sound, and they have an E at the end, but that's more because of that VCE rule. So I want to bring up the rule again, remind them, remember when we were talking about CK versus K? Well, we learned before that, if there's a consonant before that k sound, we use K. But we also are going to use K if there's a long vowel before the k sound. So then I'm going to spend some time revisiting CK, revisiting these words that have a short vowel and then a consonant and then K, and then bringing in the words with KE. Now, little side note, I'm also going to be teaching CE because they're going to learn that C isn't going to make the k sound with silent E words. It's going to make the S sound. So it all goes together. Then I'm going to reteach it again when I get to vowel teams and we start to see more words like soak and creak. So when they're seeing that ending k again, it's the perfect opportunity to bring back this rule again and compare words with CK, short vowels that go short vowel consonant K, silent E words with K, and then vowel teams with K. And then the same when you get to other vowel teams, like when you have spook or words that end with, I can't think of any off the top of my head, I probably should have written more, but other vowel teams, and then you hear the k sound. It just reinforces all of these rules. Now, I don't get to this one until I'm teaching syllable division. So right away, it does come up actually right away when you're teaching syllable division with words like music, basic, magic, traffic. So I want to point that out right away because to this point, they're used to hearing a short vowel sound and then using CK to spell k. So I take this opportunity to show them that we have another exception. But by this point, they have reviewed this so many times that it won't feel like, ugh, another thing. That's what I like about taking this approach, like one step at a time. So we're going to teach them and show them so many examples of when we hear ick at the end of a word that's more than one syllable, it's going to be spelled I-C, not I-C-K. And it is just ick, not ack, not awk. The exceptions being compound words. Compound words are always a little bit different. So they're going to see lots of examples of this as they're practicing decoding and spelling two-syllable words. So they'll get practice with that too.